Welcome to Book Look. I'm your host, Jennifer Anderson. Today we have a terrific show with two special guests. First, we welcome children's book author Bridget O'Connor. She will tell us about her book series, which features Patch the Puffin. Then Robin Novak, ESL teacher, joins us. She shares a wonderful book which helps parents of young children get started and involved in their child's education. So don't go away. We'll get things started right after this short break.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Welcome back to Book Look. Our first guest is Bridget O'Connor. She's a children's book author who writes about puffins and coastal animals. Welcome, Bridget.
Thank you, Jen.
I'm so excited to have you here today. You have one of my favorite topics for your books, sea creatures and mainly a puffin named Patch.
They are adorable little birds. There's not a lot about them. They are normally found in cooler waters and normally in Great Britain area. But off the coast of Maine, there's a wonderful sea colony of puffins. And a lot of children love to learn more about these little birds. They call them the clown of the sea, or they call them the sea parrot. And they're just full of mischief and just adorable.
And you also talk about other sea creatures in your books, correct? Patch the puffin has lots of friends.
He does, he does. He has two very close friends, Rollo, who's a seal pup, and Terry is a little tern bird. And they seem to go along with a lot of Patch's adventures. Each of the books highlights a sea creature, animals that you can find along the sea coast. And so the first book introduces Patch and his friends. And the second book that's out introduces sea turtles. And so.
Wow. And I know that sea turtles are very important to our part of the community. Out at Carolina Beach, Wrightsville Beach, we have lots of groups that go and help the sea turtles.
Yes. When I first moved down here, I got involved with Pleasure Island Sea Turtle Project. And really what I wanted to do is find out information, because when you're writing children's books, it's very important not to give misinformation to children, because they truly believe everything that you're telling them. So it was important for me to meet with the folks, and I was so fortunate I got to be involved with a sea turtle nest and go through that whole process. And they were wonderful, and I really, really appreciated all the help that they gave me on my book.
Last year was my first time actually being involved in a sea turtle project as well. So it was great to see in your book and how realistic it was to what actually happens when little baby sea turtles are hatched.
It is, it is. In the book, I do have a disclaimer at the end, because children like to have happy endings, certainly in books, and these books are normally for children between 3 and 5 years of age, but certainly children of all ages have told me they enjoy them. But normally sea turtles don't get to see their hatchlings, but you know, there's a happy ending in mine.
Good. I do love happy endings in
yes.
books. Now, your books do a lot of environmental education. In addition to sea turtles, what are some of the other creatures that will be introduced in future books?
The next one I have is about starfish, and just about the creatures that children can find in tide pools. Also, there's dolphins. There's information about research boats that are along the coastline that children can find out about. I have a wonderful pelican that comes into a story. There's a fox. There's sea otters. There's all kinds, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And so currently there are 2 books in publication at the moment?
Yes, there are. The series that I wrote, I have 6 stories. These 2 have been published and are out in some of the local stores, and of course, you can find them online. I was able to find a wonderful illustrator for my books. Some authors aren't talented in that field, and so I certainly looked for someone that had a wonderful talent drawing Patch for me.
Well, the illustrations look wonderful. I know we have a close-up of Patch on this picture. Can you tell us a little bit more about puffins?
Puffins are, they're a small bird. They're probably about 10 inches in height. They don't weigh more than maybe a can of soda is what I tell children. They're very fluffy when they're young, and that's something you can see in my books. And as my books progress, Patch will become more sleek as puffins do. They eat fish. They're out at sea a lot. When they're out at sea, they're completely silent. They never make a sound. When I bring my basket of puffins, I love to let children know what a puffin sounds like.
I bet that shocks them.
It is very shocking because it sounds like a foghorn, and children are amazed by that. They live on rock walls. They burrow into the between the rocks, and they have a den there.
So very different than birds we're used to seeing.
Absolutely, absolutely they are. They're very fast swimmers. They collect all the fish in their beaks. They love eels, and so in my book, you know, Patch comes home looking forward to a pot of eel soup, and so so it's a large colony of these birds that live together. And so that's a part of my story, is the importance of family and friends. And the name Patch means noble. And that's something that this little bird is always trying to do. He's trying to do the best that he can. And so that's another lesson that's in the story.
And I love that he has friends that help him out. Because
Absolutely.
we all need our friends.
Absolutely, and as young children know that you know, it's great to have an adventure every day.
Yes, yes. And you have some Patch's friends here as well?
I do. So when I go and do book talks, I bring along some stuffed animals for the children. I let them know what a tern looks like, which are the little birds that they'll see along the sea coast, and that's helpful for them. And Rollo the seal pup. And of course, you know, children are absolutely in love with sea turtles. And so we have to have the sea turtles. And Patch's mama comes along too. She's a little bit larger. And it's interesting, I called her Mama because Mama is more of an international name for a mom. And Patch's mom is always right. So that's another great lesson for kids, to listen to their moms.
Well, thank you so much, Bridget. Don't go away. Coming, we'll have more with Bridget. She'll take a moment and read us an excerpt from her book. Thank you.
Thank you.
What state am I?
The Japanese attacked my harbor during World War II. I am made up of many islands. I am known as the Aloha State. Do you know who I am? If you guessed Hawaii, you're right. I received statehood in 1959.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Welcome back to Book Look. We have more with author Bridget O'Connor and her Patch the Puffin series. Now, Bridget, we talked about Patch the Puffin and his friends and some of Patch's adventures. Can you read for us a little bit from one of your books?
Sure, I'd love to. This will be from the second book, Patch and the Hatchlings. And Patch has a friend, Thomasina Turtle, and who comes on the beach and lays a nest of eggs. I'll start from this one. Patch settled down next to the sand pile and wondered about the little hatchlings. Overhead, some hungry-looking seagulls were also watching it. Mrs. Turtle worked so hard to make a warm, safe nest for her eggs. But if she can't watch them, who will keep them safe, thought Patch. I must keep these eggs safe. It's up to me now. And with that, Patch gave the loudest puff and squawk he could make, frightening the hungry seagulls away.
And we saw how loud that squawk can be.
Absolutely.
That's great. And now if parents want to get these books to read to their children, where can they find your books?
Locally, you can find them at Island Books in Carolina Beach, Two Sisters Books in the Cotton Exchange, and soon, hopefully, I'll have some in Southport at a shop in Southport. You can also find them online at Amazon, and the first book is also a Kindle book, and Barnes & Noble, and also at your public library. So the library downtown in Wilmington, the library on Pleasure Island in Carolina Beach, and on Carolina Beach, you can find them in the Little Free Libraries also.
Little Free Libraries. I bet a lot of people have not heard about the Little Free Libraries yet. Can you tell us about those?
Oh, sure. The Little Free Libraries are, it's an international library system. It's found in 4 different areas on Pleasure Island. There are 2 in Carolina Beach and 2 in Curry Beach. And you can find them at parks or along a certain neighborhood. You can go online and put in your town, and you can put in Little Free Libraries, and it'll tell you exactly where you can find them. These are a little, it's on a post, and it's like a little house, and you open it up, and there are books that you can take, bring back. You can bring a book. It's a free library system. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and there's all kinds of books for adults and children.
And I believe the Island Women Organization sponsored those and is stocking the books and rotating and making sure that there are books available for all the locals and for any vacationers who come by.
That's right, exactly. It's a wonderful system.
Yeah, a great supplement to our local library system that does an incredible job.
Yes.
And if our local New Hanover libraries are out of a book at the moment, they can request them from another library and have them sent to you as well. So lots of opportunities to read your wonderful Puffin books.
Thank you.
And there are 2 that are out now, but there are others that you are writing and having illustrated at the moment as well.
Yes, that is true. Right now I have a series of 6 stories, and I work with a wonderful young artist that I found through a local university who was an art student, and her goal was to be a children's book illustrator. So it was a perfect match for both of us to give her that opportunity and me beautiful illustrations for my books. And so we're working on the next one, and we have a website, The Adventures of Patch the Puffin, and you can just keep up when the next story will be out.
Wonderful, wonderful. What are some, I know you mentioned lots of different creatures that are going to be in your books. Can you give us a teaser for your next book?
The next book has to do with the starfish. And Patch seems to lose his way on the island, and this wonderful starfish helps him find his way home.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to reading about that.
Thanks.
Now, I know that last year you were part of the Storytime series at Curry Beach and brought Patch and his friends and read to children at Storytime. Do you have any other appearances in the works?
Right now I don't, but certainly I'm very happy to come and do any book readings, but right now, no.
Well, I think I know of a couple places that would love to have you.
Oh, thanks.
So if people want to know more about your books, the website, can you tell us the website address one more time?
It's theadventuresofpatchthepuffin.com.
Theadventuresofpatchthepuffin.com.
And you can find pictures and information about these 2 books and also the next book that's coming out.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Sharing about puffins and other sea creatures.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you so
It'll
much.
be a great addition to summertime reading for any child in the area. Coming up soon, we'll have another guest on Book Look to talk about what parents can do to help their children get ready for school. Be back in just a moment.
Jack London endured more hardships at the age of 21 than most people experience in a lifetime. His struggles developed in him sympathy for the working class and provided inspiration for his career as a writer. In 1903, he earned national fame when he published the popular novel The Call of the Wild. This background in literature has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Welcome back to Book Look. Joining us for this segment is local English as a Second Language teacher Robin Novak, and she's going to share more about how parents can help children become ready to learn, starting as soon as children are born.
Yes, absolutely. Children are ready to start hearing stories and to learn how people speak to each other from the day they're born. They're learning immediately.
And you found a great resource that when you first look at it, it looks like a picture book that you would read to your students, but it's really more of a how-to book for parents on things they can do to help children become ready to learn.
Yes, yes I did, and I wish I had found this a lot sooner than this year. It's by well-known author Rosemary Wells, who's written a great number of children's books that are just delightful. Children enjoy reading and stories that they enjoy. But she's obviously been thinking about what goes into reading, what makes a reader, and what helps a student be ready to learn when they come to school.
And so what are the things that parents can do to help students become ready to learn?
Well, talking to your child, reading with them, sometimes even reading the same books over and over again. Children love the predictability of hearing that same story, and they may even feel like they're reading along with you. They've memorized the story. They may not be actually reading the words, but they're getting the idea that text moves in a certain direction, that you use expression in your voice, that you listen for a while, that you turn pages, you start in a certain spot, you end in a certain spot. They begin to develop concepts of punctuation and just the idea that letter groups mean words.
Well, can you share a little bit from the book and some of the different hints and tricks for parents?
I would love to. This little book it's called My Shining Star. She outlines the steps that she thinks are most important for children to learn to be successful students, and encourage their curiosity. And remember, they bring to school everything they've learned at home.
Yeah, parents really are the first teachers for our students.
Absolutely, and they are teaching all day, every day. Whether they're conscious of it or not, they're teaching their children all day, every day.
And during those early years, their little brains are sponges and just pick up everything around them.
Absolutely. They hear the sounds of languages. Chinese babies pick up the sounds of Chinese. Spanish babies pick up the sounds of Spanish. They don't even babble the same way. They've done studies of different languages, babies who speak different languages, and their babbling is different from English children. So they are learning the sounds of their language from day one. Wow. Okay, the first thing she talks about is respect. A child who is treated with respect at home will have self-respect. He will cooperate and have empathy for others. Very important learning skill and social skill. Listening. Listen to your child's stories. Listen to their hopes and their worries. Hear her and respond, and she will learn to listen to others. Number 3 is patience. A child who sees you are not afraid of failure, who sees you finish what you begin, will try again until they succeed. Okay. Trust. Keep your promises. Your child will become trustworthy if they learn trust. A child, work. A child who shares in the daily work at home will learn to be responsible. The smallest children, once they're walking and toddling around, they can learn to put things away.
Clean up their toys.
Clean up their toys and be a help to you.
And most children really enjoy helping out.
And it gives the parents another chance to praise their children too for doing a good job and following through with something. Honesty. If a child is taught to respect the truth, if he sees justice used to solve problems at home, he will know right from wrong. Time. Children spell love T-I-M-E. If your child owns enough one-on-one time with you each day, she will have confidence because she knows she has value. That's very important. Time with your children.
And that's not just time while watching TV, but time doing other things with your child.
Right.
Being active, going to a park, reading a book, cooking together.
Just talking about what you're engaged in doing at the time is very, very helpful in a child developing a good relationship with the parent and understanding that they're valuable. They're valuable enough to be able to help. Reading. Read to your child 20 minutes every day. She will love books. She will learn to concentrate. She will learn critical thinking and be set free to dream. Okay, books really do create dreams. And you don't need to wait until your child will sit down and snuggle up with you. Reading to a toddler while they're walking around, they will still pick up all the good things that books have to offer. So don't feel like if they won't sit down, you can't read to them. Just read to them while they're on the move. Writing. Introduce your child to writing and drawing. Praise his effort. He will be prepared for his schoolwork. He will do it with pleasure. He will be so happy because he knows he's successfully done some writing with you.
And writing is often very difficult for students, so they do need that fine motor practice.
Absolutely. The fine motor practice is very important. It's important for reading, turning pages, as much as it is for writing and coloring. And number 10 is habits. Children need quiet time every day. They need a good night's sleep and regular meals of wholesome food instead of sugary snacks. They need to be outdoors instead of watching TV and playing video games. Good habits make a child ready to learn. And the teacher says, give me a child who is ready to learn, and I'll give you a shining star in return.
That's wonderful.
Very useful information and a very sweet book at the same time.
Yes, because a lot of times when we're thinking about getting children ready for school, we may not think of some of those other good habits. We think about reading and writing, and maybe not as much about the listening piece or the work piece and instilling patience in the children.
Absolutely.
And how important that those skills are in becoming ready to read.
Right.
Ready to learn.
We call those social skills, and those social skills are some of the most important aspects of beginning school, both pre-K and kindergarten skills.
Yes. And this book, it's printed by the Scholastic Publishing Company. So if someone did want to get the book and find out more information about these skills, it's available online. Just go to Scholastic and look for My Shining Star, Raising a Child Who is Ready to Learn. And I'm sure the kindergarten teachers will be very happy that you did.
Yes, yes they will.
Well, thank you very much for coming on Book Look today and helping our parents help their children to be ready to learn.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned, we'll be back with more Book Look. Thank you for joining me today on Book Look. If you would like more tips or suggestions for helping your child become a stronger reader, then speak to the literacy coach at your child's school. For more information on Patch the Puffin series, visit the website www.theadventuresofpatchthepuffin.com. On behalf of the entire New Hanover County Schools TV crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Book Look. Thank you.